Hello there everybody, Sam's Trains here, welcome back to the railway and welcome back to another review. Up to date, some brand new Hornby coaches. In January, Hornby made a shock announcement that they would be producing a large range of 3 and 6 wheel pre-grouping coaches in direct competition with the previously announced Hatton's Genesis range. Now, as far as I'm concerned, this is a great pity because we're seeing this from Hornby more and more as time goes on. And it's a pity because it sends a very clear message to any small manufacturer that's thinking about being brave enough to announce their own product. It's a message that says if you do, there's a good chance you're going to have your day ruined. Now, of course, that is great for Hornby, stamping out the competition, but I don't think it's quite so great for our hobby. I don't think it's quite so great for our industry. I personally would love to see this hobby grow and flourish, and the way it will do that is by having as many manufacturers as possible, producing as much as possible, and getting as much new blood into the hobby as we can. Instead, we're starting to see the strangulation of these smaller manufacturers, which is unfortunate, isn't it? On the flip side, some people have said, you know, it's quite good to actually have the choice in these coaches. Duplicate products does mean more choice. I don't know though, does it really give us more choice? I would have said had Hornby used their massive resources in manufacturing to bring us something that isn't already being done, then that would give us more choice, but I don't know, maybe I'm just a cretin. However, onto these reviews, I can honestly say I really like products from both Hornby and Hatton's. They have both produced some of my favourite models of all time, and for that I'm really grateful to them. However, I can't allow this to colour my reviews of these coaches in any way. I am planning to review quite a lot of them. I'm going to cover a decent range of them, and to be quite honest with you, if I find that one of these ranges is better than the other, I'm not going to mince my words. I'm going to be honest about it, and you guys are going to find out. So with that in mind, let me just lug the first lot in. I have the first 3 coaches of this review series in my hand right now. Here they are. They are these. They are the 4-wheeled ones to start with. These are the Hornby 4-wheeled ones in the LBSC, and these will actually be my first ever LBSC coaches. In the past, I've used sort of Southern coaches and Pullmans with my LBSC logos. Well, not anymore because I have some proper coaches. And you know what? These look fantastic, don't they? I love the colour already. It looks almost sort of LMS/Midland Railway-esque, but it is indeed LBSC, and that's very exciting. So the RRP for these is £29.99, so that's more or less exactly the same price as the Genesis coaches. However, I bought these from Hatton's, yes, the irony is not lost on me, for £27 I think it was, which is a little bit cheaper. So I would say that's more or less in line with the larger coaches that Hornby produce. They tend to be, you know, around £10 more expensive than that. So I don't know, the value seems all right. But today we're going to get these out, we're going to find out what they're like, and fingers crossed these are decent. Let's find out. So as you can see, I bought 3 of these coaches, and I will introduce you to which 3 I bought as I unbox them. This is by no means representative of the entire range though. I mean, there's a huge number of these LBSC 4-wheeled coaches alone, not to mention the other sort of liveries and things that Hornby have done. But I do think these 3 ought to just give us a good idea of at least what sort of quality and detail level we're dealing with these. So I'm actually really looking forward to seeing how these turn out. I think we'll start with this top one first then. So here we go. As you can see, this is quite clearly a brake, and it looks really nice in there. I love the proportions of these coaches. They look fantastic, don't they? Let me show you the end of the box then, so you can see what version this is. So this is our 40071. It is the LB and SCR version. It is a 4-wheeler. This is the brake 3rd class coach, and it is number 941. So that's what you need to look up if you want to grab one of these. Come on then, let's find out what this is like. I'm very interested to learn. They are nicely packaged, I must say. I was expecting them to come in the sort of small Hornby wagon packaging almost, but they are quite a bit larger than that, aren't they? A bit larger than I was expecting, in fact. Okay, so there it is. We've got some interesting stuff inside here. Let's take a look at the more interesting part first. So that looks like the footboard, if you ask me. It seems that those aren't made of plastic, and notice they're not actually fitted to the model as standard. And I'm guessing, are these going to tell us how to fit them? So it says 4 and 6 wheeled coaches. Battery replacement. Okay, well there are no lights in this version, so something tells me that might not be terribly relevant, but there are versions that have battery powered lighting inside, which is cool. And then on the back here, it looks more like, it's still more on the lighting. At the bottom though, stepboard fitting. Stepboards are supplied and can be fitted if required. Push fit into the positions on the chassis as shown in figure 1. Okay, well that sounds reasonably easy, so I will probably do that later on just so that we can see the coaches in their fully assembled state. Let's go for it then. Let's have a look what this is like. This is the third brake. I can't believe how crazy it is to finally have some proper LBSC coaches for all of those LBSC logos I'll have. That's crazy, isn't it? Okay, so here it is then, up close for you. And this thing looks really, really decent, actually. The livery, the finish of the livery looks fine. Look at the lovely windows on the back there. And the coach is widened at the back so that you've got sort of more window real estate. Yeah, that's pretty cool, isn't it? I believe these have the oil-based roof furniture, as you can see there. That's for the lighting on the inside. Yeah, I quite like the look of that. We will take a closer look at this in just a second. But first, I'm excited now. We're going to have to look at the other ones I've gone for. So next up, we have this one. As you can see, this is not a brake. I've gone for a little bit of a selection. So let me show you the end of the box of this version. So this one is our 40070. It's LBSC again, 4-wheel, third-class coach this time. And this one is number 882. Oh, let's have a look. I'm interested to see how this differs. Obviously, there's quite a few different toolings involved with this range. They are generic coaches, I should say. These are not necessarily designed to be specifically LBSC coaches. If you buy a 4-wheeled coach in a different livery, you will have more or less the same thing, but just with a few variations, as far as I understand it. But there it is. That looks good. Obviously, I'm not going to show you the instruction booklets again. Okay, let's have a look at this one then. All right, there it is. Yep. So there it is. Yes, this is the 5-door, is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, this is the 5-door version of the coach. I believe their tooling does allow for a bit of variation in that. I'm sure I've seen 4 doors and possibly other combinations as well. Again, yeah, looks really, really nicely put together, doesn't it? I mean, I haven't had a chance to examine these properly yet, but there doesn't seem to be any issues in terms of build quality or anything. Yeah, they do seem to be put together really nicely, which is great. Okay, one more still to go then. Let me show you the last one. Okay, here it is. This one looks very similar to the third-class one, but it isn't. It is, again, a slightly differently tooled one. Let me show the end of the box so you can tell what it is. So this one is the R40069, nice, LBSC R4-wheel first-class coach this time, and it's number 474. And I believe this is the 4-door version, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so again, this has got a different body style on it, which is cool. Okay, let's get this one out. Here we go. Let's see what this one's like. Is it going to be a lot different given that it's first class, or are we going to see more features for the poor passengers inside? Or not so poor in this case. Well, let's find out. Alright, again, the roof furniture is considerably different again on this one. We'll cover all these differences later on. But there it is, again, same nice finish. I like the wheels, by the way. I suppose I will use the instructions tips on sort of body removal so that we can at least have a look at the interiors to see if they change at all, because that might be interesting. But for now, those are the coaches unboxed. I'm going to be careful not to destroy these immediately, so I will hold them carefully. But there we go. I think that should be enough to make a nice little LBSC train. I suppose with one of the smaller locos, these are going to be looking absolutely fantastic. But hold your horses, hold your horses. First of all, we're going to take a close look at these, find out what the quality and the detailing is really like, and then, of course, later on, I will get them tested. All right, should be fun. Let's do it. So there they are then, up close and personal for you, the LBSC mahogany coaches. Now I have put in the effort and fitted the footboards. It was reasonably easy to do. They are quite a loose fit though, and because they are made of quite a thin flexible plastic, it is quite difficult to get them seated correctly and so that they look straight. So perhaps a little dab of glue would help to keep those in place. But yes, fitting those helps to finish off the coaches quite nicely, doesn't it? And I would describe these coaches as simple but effective. Why simple? Well, because a lot of the detailing is just a part of the moulding. There aren't an awful lot of separately fitted parts. So that goes for the lamp brackets and the steps, for example, on the ends. And as a result, some of those parts look a little bit softer than they would if they were separately fitted. But overall, they're not too bad. The roof furniture is relatively simple. These are the oil lamps, as you can tell. Perhaps the moulding there isn't quite as intricate as on the Hatton's Genesis coaches, as you can see, but they look absolutely fine. One or two of them aren't fitted 100% straight, which just makes you want to get them off and refit them properly. I don't know, it looks like some aspects of the model were a little bit rushed in production. I don't know why that would be, but generally, no, the build quality is absolutely fine. Still keeping with the simple theme though, the interiors are reasonably simple. In fact, let me grab one of those instruction booklets so we can read about how to remove the body so I can show you the interior properly. Remove the body by carefully inserting a fingernail or something similar between the lower edge of the body. Okay, well, bear with me, I'll go and find something similar to a fingernail. Nope, a fingernail it is. I can't find anything else. Perhaps I shouldn't have fitted the footboards just now, and perhaps this is going to get messy, but I insert a fingernail under the body somehow? I don't know, this footboard's got to come off, hang on. Oh, it's awkward. Okay, there we go. Alright, so it is just a clip fit. Let's take a look at the interior then. So this is the third class brake, and as you can see, yeah, the interior is very, very basic. There's no detailing on the seats or anything. You have got a little brake wheel in the back, which is nice, but there's certainly nothing in the way of luggage racks or anything like that. So again, yeah, relatively basic, but it should look reasonably effective, I would have thought, particularly if you've got a version with the lights, and if you wanted to fit some people to the inside, I'm pretty sure that would look excellent as well. You will notice that each coach does have a raised section of flooring somewhere near the middle. I assume this is done in order to accommodate the battery for the lighting. Not very keen on that, that's quite messy, isn't it? Unrealistic to look at and will also cause problems when you want to fit some people. The construction of these is largely plastic, and that includes the chassis and the sole bar as well. I mean, that's absolutely fine, that is more or less what I expected. Perhaps a die-cast chassis at the very least would have been nice, and we know that's possible at this kind of price point because the much cheaper Dapol turbo wagons had the die-cast chassis, and that did quite a lot for the quality, the value for money, the weight, etc. But no, the plastic construction is fine. It is, again, just like I say, simple though, isn't it? Effective though as well. These are very effective. If we look up close, you can see the decoration is really nicely done across the board as well. As you can see, there's quite a lot of complexity in the decoration here, which I suppose might explain why these are a tad on the expensive side, but I can't fault it. You've got the beautiful lining around the windows and the doors. Look at these sort of grills above the doors as well. They're all nicely painted. And you have various tampo printed details, such as the little sort of, I thought to start with that would be the LBSC crest. I think though that looks more like the running number, so maybe the close-up lens will give us more info on that. And of course you've got the first and also third and guard print work around the doors, which looks great. The glazing is nicely done as well. Most of it is quite flush. In fact, if I show you the back of the third brake, you can see how nicely done that is. And while we're looking, you can see there are one or two metal handrails which are separately fitted. They look pretty decent. The buffer beams are complete with these vacuum pipes which are pre-fitted, and you've got these metal buffers which are very interesting looking buffers. They're not sprung or anything like that, but they're quite fine scale and nice looking, and they're also concave as opposed to convex. That is weird. I wonder how that would change the way the buffers interact. Yeah, that's quite an interesting feature, isn't it? The wheels, I think, are worth talking about. These are not just your standard wheels that you might find on a wagon or coach. No, these appear to be specially made. They've got these sort of fully moulded centres with lots of rivets and stuff on them. I believe that is not a plastic insert. I believe that is painted black, that centre section. So you have got fully cast wheels, which looks pretty decent. Underframe detail, again, is fairly basic. Not an awful lot going on here. You can see you've got the axle boxes, which are nicely moulded, and there's some various springs as well behind those, although you can't see those so well now that the footboards are in place. NEM couplings which are fitted to the chassis, so if you wanted to use more realistic couplings, that might look better on a smaller coach like this. Although bear in mind you'll have to supply those yourself because no 3-link or screw-link couplings were included with any of these coaches. I like the little door handles. I think those are separately fitted. That's a really nice touch. I'm glad those are not just moulded. And overall, yeah, they look pretty decent. The bodies aren't a perfect fit onto the chassis. If you look around these coaches, particularly at the ends, you can see a couple of gaps which vary in size between the body and chassis. But overall, I really don't have any complaints on the actual build quality of these models. Yeah, they are simple but effective. And with that, let's get them down onto the track and test how these run. Alright, so here is the setup then. The 3 LBSC coaches are on the track. I'm sorry I kind of did it without you. They're on the track, ready to go. As you can see, they're reasonably free rolling. More on that in just a second. And I have a classic LBSC locomotive, quite a large one actually. I suppose you'd really want to run these with smaller, earlier locos, but it is the E4 anyway. It's definitely an LBSC loco, so hopefully that's not too much of an unreasonable choice. So the coaches weigh in at 54 grams each, which is about right, I would say. It's not dreadfully heavy, not dreadfully light. That's about the same as 2 Hornby 7-plank wagons, and obviously it is reasonable that these are not too heavy because obviously the pre-grouping locos that they're designed for aren't usually that huge and powerful, so the fact that they are quite easy to pull is really important. And on that note, it's really important that they're really free rolling and easy to pull for that very same reason. So I have done the standard Gordon's Hill rolling test. I started off with the 3rd brake, and as you can see, that went down. It went down really, really well. This one is really freewheeling. It even went past those 2 second radius curves at the bottom of the hill, and that's, you know, that's pretty far. I don't see very many bits of rolling stock go further than that. Next up, I tried the first class one. This one was much worse. This one struggled. In fact, it didn't get very far at all. It got to about the signal box. That's not too great, a bit confused about that one. And then the 3rd non-brake, whatever you want to call it, that one was good again. That was just like the 3rd brake. That one went, again, all the way past those second radius curves. So if anything, a little bit inconsistent. Maybe my first class one I just got unlucky with, but the wheels are noticeably stiffer on that one, which is bizarre. The gauging is all fine though, by the way, 14.4mm back to back on every single coach, so the gauging is spot on. Okay then, E4, let's go and couple to the train, and for the first time this will be an LBSC loco with some purpose-designed LBSC coaches. Right, steadily does it then. Let's turn this up gently, attempt a nice steady coupling. Here we go. And obviously it's going to be the 6-wheel coaches that are the challenge, because it's going to be interesting to see how Hornby have designed them in order to take sort of reasonably tight model railway curves. So I'm not expecting any issues with the 4-wheeled coaches, but here they go. Oh, looking fantastic. Okay, let's speed up a little bit, and let's watch this branch line train as it runs. So I've got this running reasonably slowly. I just didn't think they'd look right speeding along at high speed. I really do think this looks better as sort of like a branch line speed. Having said that, it's sped up a bit, hasn't it, that E4? But wow, this looks fantastic. And just 3 of them, in fact, just 3 of them look absolutely fine, don't they? It's not too little. I mean, maybe 4 or 5 of them would look even better. But no, the fact that there is only 3 doesn't spoil the effect, does it? It's still a fantastic thing to actually have LBSC coaches for my LBSC locos. Ooh, that's good. So, in future running sessions, you won't have to see Pullmans behind all my LBSC locos. I always went for Pullmans because the Pullmans matched in terms of colour, obviously. But no, I think these match even better, and actually the slightly creamy white roof even matches the E4, doesn't it? Well, I didn't intend it that way, but that's the way it came out. Okay, so that is a lap or 2 complete now. No problems, no issues whatsoever. I've not seen any derailments. The couplings seem to be doing their job. No problems with the couplings. Curves, well, they have a reasonably short wheelbase. They only have 4 wheels, so I wasn't expecting any issues on curves. And as expected, no, they're absolutely fine. I've not seen any issues on curves whatsoever. So, no complaints. They look reasonably good. The detail is alright. It's a little bit basic, as I say, in places, but I think they do the trick. Obviously, they're not designed to be super detailed models. They're not even designed to look like any coach in particular. But for most people, and particularly for me, who isn't really interested in absolute accuracy, but is more interested in having a reasonably close approximation of what the coaches would have been like back in this era, I think these are a very, very good buy indeed. And I must say, I'm very, very pleased with these. They look fantastic. They really do. Shall we have some ratings then for the new Hornby 4-wheeled coaches in the LBSC mahogany? So nice as these are, I have given the detail just 3 stars because, as I say, yeah, they are a little bit basic. So the interior is very, very basic. You've only got moulded steps and lamp irons, no chain link or 3-link couplings included, plastic footboards, etc, etc. On the plus side, the decoration is great. I love the way these look, and despite a lot of the detailing being just a part of the moulding, I did think the moulding looked pretty good. For the most part, it is nice and sharp. Performance, I can't really fault it. They were reasonably free rolling. Benefit of the doubt slightly on that first class one, which was obviously a bit stiffer, but not to the point where it's going to cause performance issues. No issues on curves. Points are fine as well, by the way. I tried them on those horrible second radius points. No derailments or anything, so the performance is definitely 5-star. Quality, I've knocked off just 1 star. Generally speaking, they're really nicely put together. No issues really with the livery decoration, anything like that. It's fair enough, I suppose, that the sole bar and the chassis is made of plastic, but perhaps some etched metal footboards or other details might have been a little bit better quality than the sort of thin plastic ones. But overall, no major complaints. Some of the roof furniture was fitted a little bit wonkily, but I think all of this only contributes to a loss of 1 star because overall the quality was fine. Value for money then, now straight off the bat, these are okay for the money, aren't they? I think they're okay. However, I was a little bit surprised at how simple these were, given the fact that they're £27 or £30 if you want to go by the RRP. Yeah, I think we have seen better, haven't we? I mean, the Dapol turbo wagons, they were much cheaper and yet much more complex. So I don't think I'm being too harsh in giving this 3-star on value for money. Perhaps if we'd had a little bit more complexity, a few more separately fitted parts, a little bit more metalwork, I could have gone higher on the value. But no, I think 3 stars is fine. Overall then, that is an alright score, isn't it? 6.89 out of 10. Let's pop that into the logbook. There it is, third, just below the 12-ton tanks from Oxford Rail. Yeah, overall not too bad at all. Perhaps a little bit on the pricey side, but overall I'm quite happy with them and they do look fantastic. Here you go. Change of loco for you. It's probably more like the size of loco that would usually be hauling coaches like this. Oh, and I can't run that Terrier on the outside line, can I? Hang on. Too late. Let's put it on the middle line, shall we? Okay, panic over. So there we go. Finally, some coaches to suit the Terrier as well. Looks pretty good with the Terrier, I think. And also they're perfect for the Dapol Terriers because they're light enough that you can haul more than like 2 of them without the loco slowing down to a crawl, so that's pretty good. Yeah, I think I love the way these look actually with the LBSC locos, and I'm really interested to see how the other liveries from the other pre-grouping railways turn out from both the Hattons and Hornby ranges of coaches, and it'll be great to finally be able to put some halfway realistic coaches behind so many of these locos that previously have had to be hauling much larger and much less prototypically accurate coaches up till now. So let me know down in the comments, what do you think about these? Have you decided to order any of these yourself? If so, which ones? Which ones have you gone for? Have you got any of the LBSC ones yourself? What do you think of them? If so, are they alright? Do they work as they should? Yeah, do share your thoughts down in the comments. I'd be really interested to hear what those are. For now though, thank you so much for watching. I hope that was interesting for you. I hope I went into enough detail and such on these coaches. Yeah, they're okay. I'm very, very pleased with them. And I'm just so eager to have more of these early coaches for reviews and running sessions and stuff. It's just going to be perfect for that kind of thing. So yeah, thank you for watching. Thanks for your company. Hope you enjoyed this one. And I'll see you on the next video. All right, cheers folks. You take care.